Hello students, in this video we will learn what are capacitors and how does it function. You might have studied the concept of energy and different forms of energy and how one form of energy could be converted into another. Let us try to understand this with a simple examples like turbine or solar cell devices. So these devices helps to produce electrical energy from the renewable resources like solar or wind power. Larger efforts are being made to make better and better devices that can efficiently convert the energies from the renewable resources into electrical energy. See, on the other hand, storing the electrical energy produced by these devices and appropriately retrieving the stored energy is equally a challenging task. Again, material scientists are continuously looking forward for designing new materials that can be used for efficiently converting the stored energy. So you might be quite familiar with charging of batteries of electronic gadgets like smartphones, laptops, digital watches or smart watches, electric vehicles or even toy cars. So powering these electronic gadgets using batteries is one good example of how one can store the electrical energy and one can typically retrieve the electrical energy. In this video, we will learn a device similar to this, batteries. So capacitors are similar to the batteries, but the mechanism with which the energy could be stored or the amount of energy a device can store within it, which we call it as energy density, is somewhat different from the battery. So what exactly a capacitor is? A formal definition of a capacitor is like this. It is a passive two-terminal electrical device that stores electrical energy under the applied electric field. Capacitors can also release the stored energy with much faster rate as compared to batteries. So this particular function of a capacitor has made the capacitor as one of the main component of various electrical and electronic circuits, just like resistors or inductors. For example, capacitors are integrated into complicated circuits starting from high power electric circuits of automobiles or automotive machines to a simple printed circuit boards of electronic gadgets like a cell phone or a computer. The capacitor's function of storing and retrieving energy is mainly based on the simple principle of electrostatic force. But how electrical energy could be stored in the form of static charges? So the word static means immobile or remain in one place. So you might be familiar with the concept of static charges or immobile charges and how a static electricity is produced. I would like to follow up this concept with a reflection spot activity. So now pause the video, think and write one or two scenarios where you have observed static electricity. So after you're done, you can play the video again. I hope you could recall where you have observed the production of static electricity. The static charges are typically produced by the friction created by rubbing two insulating objects. One of the most common example of static electricity is the lightning, which we commonly observe during the rainy days. So lightning is caused by the stream of conducting paths created by the flow of static charges from the clouds to the ground. Another example is the sparks or crackling sound produced due to the rubbing of hair with a nylon material or a balloon. Here is another example called plasma ball. So in case of plasma ball, a beautiful colored patterns are produced by ionized charges that are static in nature. Here is another example called as Van de Graaff generator. This is one of the important experiments you might have learned during your school. So this experiment demonstrates the creation of electrostatic charges, and so it is called as electrostatic generators. The Van de Graaff generator uses a moving belt that accumulates static charges on a metallic globe which is placed on the top of the insulating column over here. So they create a very high electrostatic potential of the order of few million volts. So now I hope you are familiar with the concept of electrostatic charges or electrostatic field and how they are produced in the real life scenarios. With this basic introduction, let us now read the definition for capacitors once again. So it is a passive two-terminal electrical device that stores electrical energy in the form of static electricity. Now let us understand how the capacitors are able to store the electrical energy with a simple layman example. I have here provided an example of how the water stored in the water tank helps to provide a continuous supply of water. This is an inlet pipe with a valve which fills in the water tank, and there is an outlet pipe for a water exit. As long as the water continues to flow in through the inlet pipe, we will get a continuous supply of water from the outlet pipe. However, if we stop the water flow into the tank, but we will still get the steady supply of water flow through the exit pipe as long as the water is completely drained in the tank. If the stored water in the tank gets over, we can refill the tank to repeat the process again. This is the same concept which is applied in the capacitors as well, in the way it is storing the electrical energy and retrieving the stored electrical energy. Let us now try to relate this example with the simple electrical circuits with capacitors. Here is a basic circuit to glow a light emitting diode. So the light emitting diode is connected to the power resource, and here is the switch to complete the circuit. So when the switch is on, the LED starts glowing. Suppose if there is a power fluctuation, so the LED will start flickering. So to avoid this flickering, we can connect the capacitors within the circuit like this. Moment we connect the capacitor device into the circuit, the capacitors would store the energy from the power resource, and then the stored energy is continuously provided to the LED. So even if there is a power fluctuation in between, the LED will glow continuously without flickering. So this is how the function of a capacitor device is applied for simple circuits. However, there are many more advanced applications for capacitors. Here are some more applications of capacitors. So the capacitors are used for power conditioning applications. So the devices called rectifiers or amplifiers are used for that. The next is the capacitors are used as one of the primary component in MEMS based sensors. MEMS are nothing but micro electromechanical system. So the touch pads or the position sensors that are used in the modern electronic gadgets like mobile phones or the laptops uses capacitor as one of the main component in them. And finally, capacitors are also used for signal processing technologies. In general, capacitors are available in different shapes, sizes and configurations. But the basic structure of a capacitor looks like this. It has two electrically conducting thin plates kept in parallel and separated by a small distance. The space between the two conducting plates can be filled with any insulating materials. So insulating materials are nothing but non-conductors of electricity. So in fact, you can fill the gap between the two electrodes with even air or a vacuum. because both air or a vacuum are non-conductors of electricity. Or you can think of filling the gap by any solid insulating materials like mica, glass, paper or a plastic. But what is the role of a solid insulating materials? So the solid insulating materials helps to improvise the capacitance value of a capacitor. So what is a capacitance? It is nothing but a potential to store energy. So it is simply defined as the charge developed on the capacitor plates divided by the voltage. The capacitance is also defined by this formula considering the parameters of the capacitor device. So the capacitance is directly proportional to the area of the electrodes and it is inversely proportional to the separation between the two plates. So if you increase the area or decrease the distance, one can increase the capacitance value of a capacitor. However, if you wanted to have a capacitance with a very high capacitance value, one has to go for some special insulating materials called as dielectrics. Dielectrics comes under the class of ceramic materials. There is one another material called as ferroelectric, which has inherent built spontaneously polarized charges. So if you place these type of dielectric or a ferroelectric material in between the capacitor plates, the capacitance value directly is increased by a factor called as the dielectric constant of the material. So now let us move on to the working principle of a capacitor. To understand the working principle of the capacitor, let us consider that the two electrode plates are connected with the battery. The moment we connect the two electrode plates with the battery, positive and negative charges are developed and gets accumulated on the surface of the electrodes. So these net charges created on the electrodes will create a static electric field between the region of the two electrodes. So even if we simply remove the potential source, you still will be able to hold the accumulated charges on the capacitor plates like this. This is because the circuit is not closed and therefore the charges cannot pass through them. So this is how the capacitors are able to store the charges. So I hope that now you're clear with the concept of storing and retrieving the electrostatic energy in the capacitors. There are different types of capacitors. So this disc type capacitors, variable capacitors or multi-layered capacitors and many more. Whatever may be the type of the capacitor, the interior design of the capacitor looks somewhat like this. You might be having two electrode plates which is separated by a dielectric material. Let us now take a closer look on one type of a rolled or a foil capacitor. So here it is written as 2200 microfarad. It is nothing but the capacitance value of the capacitor. And here it is written as 16 volts, which is nothing but the working voltage of the capacitor. These two are very important parameters depending on which the capacitor device will be chosen for a particular circuit applications. With this basic introduction to capacitors, I would like to now proceed with the simple activity. Pick up a printed circuit board or electric circuit board of any discarded electrical or electronic gadgets at your home. Look for whether you can identify a capacitor in that circuit. Pick one of the capacitor and take a closer look onto them. Note down the specification of the device. Now pause the video, think and write down how you can create a simple homemade capacitors. I hope you can recall the basic design of a capacitor. Think of performing this activity like this. Take a too thin aluminum foil, cut it appropriately, insert a dielectric material like a paper, mica or a plastic sheet in between them and grip it together. Connect the two conducting foils to the terminals of a battery. Thank you.